Hello friends, please subscribe and press the bell icon for notifications.
Hello friends, welcome to Ranju's Kablitiku. Phew, what a day it has been. Ravishing, isn't it? Today I would like to talk about the truce and peace that has been established between North Korea and South Korea. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean leader Moon Jae-in took the unprecedented step by exchanging greetings and shaking hands and promising to establish peace and tranquility in the Korean Peninsula. Now the thing is that who's the person behind the truce, behind the peace talks? You would be glad to know that spy, the chief of National Intelligence Service, Soe-hoon, is the person who was behind the truce, and 18 years ago he traveled to Pyongyang and met the then leader Kim Jong-un and had proposed peace talks between the two nations, but that was rejected and he was met with contempt. And today, look what happened. After 18 years, the son took the decision to establish peace, and we have seen that how he cried when the two leaders shook hands. We know that peace has been established right now, but the two nations have been at loggerheads since 1950. There was a war, and since then there have been a lot of conflicts between the two nations. We know that North Korea has been fervently testing nukes on its soil, and its neighbors like China, South Korea, for that matter America, the whole world is on tenterhooks because they have been testing missiles and detonating bombs, which created not only a diplomatic shockwaves but also a 8.3 magnitude earthquake, and the kind of tremors resulted in deformation of the Pyongyang site, and there were fears, collective fears, that the mountains, if the mountain collapses, then the radiation might escape and leak out across the region. Many countries have withdrawn support and businesses from North Korea, and sanctions have been imposed by countries and many foreign bodies, and Kim Jong-un was under a lot of duress to establish peace and to reach to a consensus with the rest of the world. He also said, Kim Jong-un also said that foreign journalists and other experts would be invited to North Korea to witness the decommissioning of the nuclear sites for good, and that too before he goes on to talk to the US President Mr. Trump. Denuclearization was the main agenda of the talks between the North Korean and South Korean leaders, and Kim Jong-un has pledged and promised that he would decommission the Pyongyang sites for good, and that too in full view of the outside world. And he's slated to meet the US President Mr. Trump in 3 to 4 weeks time, and he says that Mr. Trump would come to know that what kind of a person he is. He's not a person who would just shoot missiles towards the US. And during the negotiations, North Korea will be convinced that they have an upper hand because they have just tested their nukes and missiles, and so they have an upper hand. But at the same time, US would think that they should have the upper hand because of the sanctions. Now I'll tell you what my opinion is, what to make out of all these talks. Kim Jong-un and President Trump, they are going to meet, right? And we know Trump loves to tweet. His tweets are ubiquitous everywhere, and he, in one of his tweets, he said that he's the catalyst behind the change, behind the peace talks that are taking place between North Korea and South Korea. But the thing is that Trump exerted pressure on China, which in turn exerted pressure on North Korea to come out of its shell and to have a peace talks peace dialogue with South Korea, and now they'll have dialogue with America. So why so? Because North Korea depends a lot on China for trade and commerce, so it had to listen to what China had to say. And now the talks that will happen between Trump and Kim after 4 weeks, I'm pretty sure that Trump will definitely ask him to destroy all his nuclear weapons, and Kim will not so easily give in. Why? The reasons are many. Firstly, um, all the countries are against North Korea, right? Secondly, even the United Nations want a change in the way they deal with people, the dismal quality, the dismal way the people are treated in North Korea, that does not go well down the UN. And they want that the tyranny should end, the dictatorship should end, and there should be a democracy. So this is one of the reasons Kim Jong-un is a bit apprehensive, and I would say that he's insecure. And yes, Kim will not bow down, given the fact that he has seen the trajectory of the leaders who gave up nuclear weapons and what happened to them. North Korea looks at Iraq and Libya, whose leaders, Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi, they were killed, eliminated, and there was Western intervention. So they very well know that if they give up the nuclear weapons, then there's a sort of insecurity. And in all this, Russia, another powerful bastion, has maintained an eerie silence, and we all know that it supports North Korea a lot, but yet it is just silently observing everything. My recommendation to Mr. Trump would be to conduct talk peacefully, given the fact that how irrational Mr. Kim has been in the past, because all of us deserve a peaceful world without nukes. Thank you.